Hello everyone, Eric with OzoneTCG here. Today we have Zohair's Dragon Link Adventure deck versus Nick's Tearlaments Hero list. This is kind of a weird build for Tearlaments. Nick is going first here, and this focuses on getting Dark Law out, basically for the mirror, because if they can't out Dark Law, something with Super Poly, or Dark Ruler No More, or Impermanence, they probably are losing. There are ways to play around it, like technically with Psy-Frame Gear Gamma, but it is very difficult to play under Dark Law. And that's the same thing as Dragon Link. So assuming that they don't have just hard open Right of Aramesir, or don't snipe, or rather do snipe the Draco back, different story, right? So start off with the Instant Fusion, add Sliak, and so that's Kikolos is going to target itself, summon Merly for mill 8, which usually is not the greatest play. This deck also plays Fusion Destiny. Even if you're somehow locked into fusions, which none of the cards that we play in this Tearlaments Hero list actually lock you into fusions besides Fusion Destiny after you use it, and it's just your Dark Hero cards. We're not playing any branded cards in here whatsoever. You can still at least use Fusion Destiny. So, and the interaction here with DPE, so even though you're playing, technically 2 bricks with it, they can still use fusion material. You're still able to fusion summon using them. Malicious is one of the targets instead of Destiny Hero Dasher. It actually pairs with Beatrice, Lady of the Eternal, and you're going to see right here, Nick's actually going to summon Malicious from the deck by milling this somehow, and getting Beatrice. With Garura, so Beatrice mills one, then on resolution, Garura triggers to draw one, because it doesn't have to be sent from the grave, or rather sent from the field or the extra deck to the graveyard. It just has to be sent to the graveyard in general. It's a really good, Burning Abyss-esque card. It just has to trigger in that way. So he is fusion summoning, summon the 2. So he's actually just, okay, he's going to attribute summon over that. So go Beatrice, and then from there, probably detach Garura to get the draw. So it's going to be probably Hopness Chainlink 1, Garura Chainlink 2 to play around Ghost Spell. That is what he does in this case, and then this still gets you to, in this case he's going to go Kaleido Heart, which I think is fine. He has Suliak and Beatrice set up. Theoretically, if you play like any Shaddoll cards, whatever, you could do the same thing. He's going to go the minus off the hand, which not optimal, but still fine. Completely okay to use that in some cases. He already has another Reno Heart anyway. He's going to pitch Suliak. Oh no, he misclicked there. Okay, that's all right. So he does have Suliak. I think that was just to show his search target. So in this case, he's going to go probably Beatrice once Zohair commits to a play, I would assume. Really depends on how it is, but Kaleido Heart plus Suliak is really, really hard to play around. I can't believe this card triggers if it's sent to the graveyard by any card effect and mill, so he has a double mill plus Ash plus Suliak. So kind of hard to play around, even with Gamma in hand and the Chaos Space. But Chaos Space is currently kind of dead. You can pitch Wyver Burster, which I think is probably the best play after the adventure stuff. We just save that for later on. But we'll see how Zohair plays this out. Straight to the adventure token. Also nice to note that Beatrice is a light fairy that can pair if you play some light fusions. Really, really depends on what you play though. In this version though, just a nice rank 6. Theoretically, play Zeus with this too. Just attack into something and then go Zeus. I don't think it's great, but it is playable. So Beatrice effect. And this is going to actually trigger Kaleido Heart too, which is really nice. So basically, if you get to choose whenever you want to use Kaleido Heart's effect at this point, which makes playing something like Beatrice definitely worthwhile. So Hobness is just going to go right here. He's probably going to get rid of the Fateful, I would assume. Getting rid of the token doesn't really do anything here, but getting rid of Fateful prevents both Aramesir and not Aramesir, Draco back and Griffin. So he's going to do that, puts it back into the deck. Really hard to play, actually, through that in that case. But then Hobness is going to basically issue whatever you want. Fusion summoning like Garura, probably like Dragostapelia. Looks like that's what he's going for in this case, which, again, really, really strong play. Negate, Striker Dragon, negate Romulus, negate Firebrax. Really hard to play around that as well, unless you have, again, Droplet or Dark Ruler No More. But I don't think Zohair plays either of those. He may play Droplet, but I don't think he plays Dark Ruler No More in his Dragon list. As far as I'm aware, this is the same list he was topping last week's remote regionals with. So yeah, I don't remember the exact details on there. I can post that on the OzoneTCG website if you guys are interested. Also, Yugioh Pro Deck. I'm always going to be saying this from now on. We're not technically sponsored by them, but I do work with Alan, and we are uploading tournament results with full deck lists, just like Pokemon's Limitless TCG. We will have as much information as possible. There's a Facebook group I've created now to post deck lists and gather as much information from a bunch of different Facebook groups. I know Luxury, Dragon Rider Games, Carlancho's Store, Tables and Towers, some of the big Gamer's Choice, some of the big Facebook groups, and LGSs that host tournaments or post a bunch of lists from different events. We're trying to consolidate everything and make the community overall just better. Traditionally, that's not been the case, simply because really the only archive site we've had in the past is Yu-Gi-Oh! Top Decks. We've been using that for years. I mean, it's been up for like almost 10 years at this point. It's been up for a while, but it is not good anymore. It's really hard to document things on there, and often it gets a lot of things wrong, just with the way that the website parses data and everything. We're trying to do that with Yugioh Pro Deck and the Facebook group, just to make it a little bit easier to find information, to find tournaments, to find players, see what's top, what's good, what's not, anything like that. So that's one of the goals of here, and you guys can still see Zoe here playing. I'm just trying to get some clerical reminders and notes out of the way. But the Yugioh Pro tournament report, tournament section is still under construction. There are a bunch of bugs with it. It's how it is with a kind of an experimental thing. No other website with the TCG at least has something like this. No one reports these the way that Yugioh Pro Deck will have it. It'll also sort categories of deck lists. So say you're playing Sprite and you want to tag it as Sprite, and I don't know, say you're playing the Nimble cards or extra Deep Sea Diva cards, whatever. You'll be able to sort those. Not you specifically, those who are uploading it, and you can always make a request to the website. That's not a problem. But it'll have the event. We're hoping to see how many players there are. That's the hope. And then deck lists if they're publicly available, and links to YouTube videos or source or wherever if they're available as well. So anyway, back to the game. Enough about that. I'll probably make a whole video regarding that just to get the word out, because it is a big thing. I'm really, really excited to use the Yugioh Pro Deck for this. Again, because I love Limitless TCG for looking at Pokemon data. No one else has it. Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't have any kind of equivalent, anything like that. So yeah, just want to make sure we're getting the word out. I'm going to start putting everything in the description for those once it's publicly available. I'll also put the Facebook group for putting tournaments and lists. And here, Zohair scoops, because he just can't play through the interruptions. So we're going to go to the next game. But yeah, I'll start just having a link tree of everything if you guys want to take a look at it. It'll have the Facebook group, regular OzoneTCG, everything like that. We'll still have the regular, like, the TCG player shop and affiliate link if you guys want to use that. And again, if you guys ever want to pick up these cards, especially the tier limit cards, they're really, really good. They've definitely been getting better now that people are really experimenting with it rather than just Sprite and rather than just playing adventure decks. I'm excited to play this deck a lot more. I've been grinding it on Dueling Book, and I'm excited to play it in person for in-person regionals again. So yeah, game 2. Pretty good opening, honestly, from Zohair's. And Nick only has Havnus, so he has to mill... just start milling cards because he can't play if he encounters a Scythe Lock. Really hard to play. A Legal Knight is pretty good versus tier limit overall. I would still take the Griffin Rider any day, but if you have a Legal Knight and you draw it, it doesn't interrupt your plays whatsoever. I don't know if I necessarily take it over Griffin Rider, but I do know that a Legal Knight is quite good versus this deck, simply because it doesn't put the monster in the graveyard or allow them to activate whatsoever. It just puts them back into the extra deck, and at worst put materials back into the hand. So he's going to grab Griffin here. Pitching Chaos Space. Okay. Yep. Don't really see a line from here. I think he might just pass on a Legal Knight Griffin Rider. He might go Rocket Recharger for the Rocket combo. Standard Dragon Link combo, yeah. So banishing Recharger would suck, yeah, because he doesn't have anything else in the graveyard. But at worst, it's not it's not the end of the world. Plus, being able to actually play your combo off of White Dragon Wyverburster is pretty good. So we'll see how he plays it. From here, I think he's just going to go Wyverburster, probably the Romulus play. Okay, so he's going to go... I think he was going to discard... Oh, he's going to send a Legal Knight instead. So same thing, basically. So Romulus, yep. Romulus, discard, White Dragon Wyverburster. Oh, I think he made a misplay here. Okay, so he's going to structure the play a little bit differently. I think he misclicked on the Dragon Ravine. So draws E-Tele, gets Xamin, which goes into Fibrax, or Shooting Riser, depending on how he wants to structure the play. This goes into Chaos Ruler. This card probably should not be legal anymore, considering the dark cards and Punk and everything. Just free Fibrax. Even if Fibrax goes, I think this card is really, really dangerous to have in the game, especially being able to just add all your cards. It's going to make a lot of decks still pretty good even after Fibrax is banned. So from here, it's going to go into Fibrax. Yep. Rose Dragon. Very standard. He did mill, yeah, he milled Basil, but he's going for Baron instead, which is, yeah, that's what the Dragon Link does. From there, but still go Rox Rose, and Rox Rose doesn't get anything, but you still have Shooting Riser, and this is still the Scythe combo. It's going to Shooting Riser, mill Scythe, and then he still has a level 10, so in the case that you happen to go to main phase, you can still go to another level 10 Synchro. Now, Nick does have the... Yeah, he's going to draw. He won't have the out. Even with the Call by the Grave. Call by the Grave isn't out in this case because it can be negated by Baron. So, not great, but that was a pretty good play with Dragon Link, despite the fact that he really didn't go into the Savage play, the Borderline play, anything like that. So, Game 3. Who will win? I honestly have no idea. It's going to be if Nick gets the Dark Law, and it looks like he will off of this. We'll have to see, because this gets probably Shyren. Seems like a really good play here. But if Nick can resolve Dark Law, and Zohair doesn't draw any power spells going second, he is probably fine. This is one of the reasons why it's really hard for Dragon Link to play going second if they don't draw a single hand trap or don't draw any power going second cards. Post-siding, so like Lightning Storm, Dark Ruler, No More, etc. Really hard for him to play. Gets Havnus and Merly. That's exactly what you want, even if you don't use both effects. I was the play around DD Crow, but it just doesn't matter here. He's going to go with the Beatrice play. Pretty good. I don't think he really... Probably lag on Dueling Book. Because Dueling Book has had a lot of lag recently. I don't know why. Last couple months it's been rough trying to test on Dueling Book. It's really hard. It used to not be so awful. I think server issues. I don't know. Just gonna go here. Let's see. All right, so he's not gonna use the effect quite yet. Okay, Rhino Heart. Okay, Merly. Where's Merly gonna go? Oh, he's gonna go ahead and shuffle 2 for Kikolos. If you're playing the Mirror, for example, you would 100% go Dweller here. But because this is not the Mirror match, I don't necessarily think you have to. Redoer instead. Which Redoer's a very, very strong card. Kind of insane. You know, I'm not gonna say it's ban worthy, but definitely is kind of crazy. I think they're just having some fun while testing. So Zohair is checking. So Nick draws Mask Change 2 off of the Garura. Pretty busted play here. And so from here, they're just going to pretend like Zohair does have Dark Ruler No More. What would happen here, how would he structure the play? Draws the second Dark Ruler No More. Okay, Gamma. That actually does matter for Chaos Space. Chaos Space pitch Foxy Tune or Foxy Tune discard. Yeah, so this allows you to play around Dark Ruler No More. And Sulik does not just disappear, it's a continuous trap as well. So, again, you have to have double Dark Ruler No More. So this is going to be in the graveyard by the time. So going to go kick Kalos, add probably Hotness still. Yep. Hotness, adventure stuff. Honestly, it's really hard to interact with this. It's crazy. A couple of years ago, before Lynx came out, you would have been crazy to think that a token deck or a deck that relies on a token would have been basically meta defining. It's really hard to interact with it. It's a normal monster. You can't Book of Moon it. Obviously, because it's a normal monster, you can't negate its effects. Basically, you have to destroy it, banish it, etc. It's just hard to play around a token deck, especially one that generates a card, just one card off of Rite of Aramesir. So you get the token, and then you get Fateful Venture. So you get a +1 off that, potentially +2 if you can summon another card, which usually you can. +1 off that, and then at worst you add, Water Enchantress, and then get Rite of Aramesir from there. It's kind of insane. This deck, even without Griffin Rider, just Aramesir probably would have been playable. Probably meta, and probably meta defining even in earlier years. We're going to have a discussion on that actually, probably within the next couple of days. I kind of want to talk about power creep and what's fundamentally changed in the game, and talk about a bunch of different eras, because it's really interesting. A lot of people don't really talk about it. They're just like, well, old Yu-Gi-Oh, it's so-and-so, whatever. Old Yu-Gi-Oh's better. Past couple of years have been rough for the game overall. Next couple sets are interesting, and like I've said in previous videos, will fundamentally change the game even further. It's going to be hard to go back. I don't think it's really possible to go back. Ban list would look a lot bigger, but yeah, we'll have a discussion on that later, because these kind of decks just having to, the ultimate point is having to draw your power cards just to be able to play. Your power, even if they're power 3-ups, like Dark Ruler No More, is still not enough versus some of these decks. So if Nick played something like, I don't know, Winda, Shaddoll cards, anything like that, really hard to play. So this is actually a good point for playing Illegal Knight. Suliek negates the effects, and then get close, builds 5. And go Kaleido Heart. Space. Yep. Mass Change 2. That is where I would scoop, because you have a 50% chance at that point to get hit by whatever you milled, and if you don't, well, you get rid of the other card, and then you still have to play through a Dark Law. Really hard to do. He does hit that. Zohair cannot play through here. It is very much not possible. That should be banished. Yep. I would scoop. It's really hard for Dragon Link to play through this. Even though you can technically still summon your monster, you actually can't get the Black Dragon effect, because it wasn't sent to graveyard. It would banish instead. Striker Dragon just doesn't do anything on its own. You can't get the add. You have to have that extra gas, basically. Really hard to play, and this is not even considering Meta Noise, which is just insane with Kaleido Heart, like I said. Basically an FTK if you draw these. If you have all 3, really hard to play the game. Let me know what you guys think about these cards, and again, use our affiliate link, PTG Player, anything like that. I will talk a little bit more about Yugioh Pro Deck and my work with them. All good things, of course. I've never had a bad experience with the site in general. It's a really, really cool site. Eric with OzoneTCG. Thank you as always for watching.